Hey guys, what's going on? Shoutside here, and I got another video here for you. In this video, I want to show you how I do color correcting. Fairly straightforward, but very simple. Now, there's a difference between color correcting and color grading. Color correcting is basically, in this case, this is my footage when I went to Venice Beach, and pretty much as you can see here, this is a reference window. You can go to Windows, reference monitor, and you can click on it. And then right here on the pull down menu, you click on that. Then you select RGB parade. This is basically your RGB colors that you're seeing right here, right? So you can kind of make out what it is. These are the trees and all this stuff. So, and here's the sand. Okay, now pretty much what you're looking at is this section up here are the highlights. Middle, obviously midtones, and down here are the shadows. Now, when you have these top wave patterns touch the 100 line mark, pretty much that means that it is absolute white. So whatever is white becomes whiter. In this case, because it's not really touching it, you can see here it's kind of a grayish look. So it's underneath the 100 line mark. So white becomes grayish. Same thing with the blacks. Most of the blacks, as you can see here, they're not completely touching here on 0. So it's kind of a lighter gray, it's not 100% black. So what I do when I'm doing like quick editing, something that's nothing too crazy, I just want to make it look good, is this. Go to your effects on Premiere Pro. You can do a curves. Yeah, go RGB curves. Click and drag. Go to your effects control. And let's see, let me pull it down this window. I'll make it big so you guys can see it. Now you got your master, your red, your green, and blue. Master pretty much means that whatever you do here affects it all. Now, as I mentioned, the first thing I do is I'll take the master highlights, which is the top right, and I drag it towards the left. And as you can see, it starts to move everything up a bit. So what I'm keeping in mind is I want to like increase them all at the same time, but also I'm keeping my eye on the blue level here because it's like the highest. So once it reaches pretty close to like the 100 line mark, I kind of stop a little bit more. Okay, that's good. And I do the same thing with the shadows, which is the lower left here. Click and move it to the right, and wait. As you can see, pretty much it looks like the greens and the blues are closer to the 0 mark. So keep an eye on that. A little. That's good. Looks like the green is closer. So now what I do is I go through like the RGB curves and I start moving them. So I'm gonna start with the red. As you can see here, I'm gonna increase the red a bit, a little bit more, a tad bit more. Same thing with the greens. Increase that. Alright, now I'm gonna do the shadows. The green looks like it's okay. Probably gonna just drop the blues and the reds a bit. Alright, same thing with the blue. Alright, cool stuff. So if I turn this on and off right off the bat, you can see the difference. Pretty cool, huh? So yeah, it's not as grayish like that. I mean, which is fine. If when you're filming, you kind of want it to look like this. Actually, there are settings on the camera where you can like choose scenic views or whatever. But like pretty much what happens is that like the camera, it'll bake if you have a DSLR, it'll bake the color correcting or the color data into your footage, and it won't give you too much room to like adjust later. And pretty much as an editor, if you want to like have more control of it, you want to choose something that's called the cinematic settings, I believe it's called, on your DSLR. And pretty much what that does, it'll create more of a flat image quality. That way, when you come in post-production, you can actually do the color correcting like I am. So you want this kind of a look when you're editing, when you're filming. That way, boom, you can have more control. And then pretty much like for the most part, I don't mess with the midtones. I kind of leave the midtones alone when I'm doing something quick and easy. I just mainly adjust like the highlights and the shadows. But color correcting wise, if you want to like have everything set up so you know you can have more full control, you can actually line up the midtones, right, to get more of a flat look. That way you can do your adjustment later. Now, like I said, if I'm doing something quick and simple, I'll probably leave this as is. Then I'll just add like a sharpen filter to make everything look nice. But just for this tutorial, I'm going to go a little extra step. So as you can see, the midtones, they're at steps, right? There's more red, less green, and then lesser blue. So what I do is I use like the closest bar, in this case like the 60 bar right here, and then like the red is closest to it. So I'll go on my midpoint of the red, increase it a bit. Fuck it. There you go. Then I do the same thing with green. Oops. And then the blue. Now by doing that, you know, you kind of like increase the highlights a bit of the blues, so I can just drop the blues down a bit. Now if you're looking too bright, you can just grab the master, you can drop them all at the same time. Alright, that looks like shit, obviously, but as you can see what's going on, the highlights are being adjusted from like the blues, you know, so there's more blue now. So this is kind of a neutral, it's referred to as color correcting. Pretty much now from here you can do whatever you want. So drop the greens. So yeah, once you get to this point, pretty much it's considered color corrected, and then like from here you can start doing your adjustments. So if you want to have something more stylized, whether you want to see more reds, you want to see more greens, you know, in this case, let's just say you want a more of a green look. So you drop the reds, the midtones. Let's see, I'm gonna go extreme just to make an example. See, now let's drop the blue. And then, you know, this is just, you know, a stylized look. You know, you can do whatever you want. But like I said, it's pretty much like the idea of having a color corrected image at first. You know, you balance the highlights, balance like the blacks, and then you balance the midtones to be somewhat similar. Then you start adjusting it to however you want, right? So let's see, increase the midtone, the red highlights. So like I said, this is just all preference. Once you get to the color corrected stage, when everything's balanced, and then you can start, you know, adding and taking away whatever you want. So it just becomes easier that way, right? But like I said, I'm gonna control Z it. So I mean, that to me looks pretty good for what I'm aiming for. Something you can do, see, let's go to effects, look up sharpen. You want to get the sharpen filter, click and drag it, boom. Go back to effects control. And I usually set this to 25. Now see, as you can see, what happens when you do the sharpening. If you take it off, it looks all jagged and whatnot. When you do a sharpening, it smooths out the color correcting data, and it, you know, it looks a bit better. So this can help you out when you're doing your adjustments. You know, so you have more of a visual. As you can see here, look at the bottom, and you can see the red blacks. I can lower them. So maybe you can do that at first, add a sharpening filter, and then like so you can see, you know, better, you know, color data. Let's see, drop the reds a bit more. That's good. And yeah, see, I'm already liking that. So boom, what a massive difference, right? That looks pretty cool. So yeah, I'm gonna keep this video short. I'm not gonna go too into it, but yeah, this is something what I do in Premiere Pro, and like I said, there's plenty of tutorials on how to do color correcting and all that stuff, but this is how I do it in Premiere Pro, you know, quick, simple. So anyways, yeah, I'm going to keep the video short, and like in the future video, I'm going to go more into detail on what I like to do for more color grading stuff, you know, color grading as in, you know, adding your own, you know, personal style, your own personal look to how you want an image to, you know, to appear as. But I'm going to do that in After Effects. Usually in Premiere Pro, I don't really like doing too much color grading. You know, if I want to have more of a stylized look, I do it all in After Effects because I have way more control to do what I want. Also, in my way of doing things, I do add a lot of colors, a lot of filters, you know, and there's a lot of detail that I, you know, put into, you know, color grading to get a certain look that I want. So yeah, I'll definitely be doing that in another video, but within After Effects. All right. So anyways, if you made it this far, I really want to thank you for watching the video. I appreciate it. Lately, I have been getting more comments and questions. I've been getting a few subscribers, so I'm very happy to see that people are enjoying my content. And I want to keep on doing what I'm doing to help people out, because helping people out is something I'd like to do. So anyways, thanks again and take care. Peace.